Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Serious Conversations with me and my co-host TC. Today we have the Honorable Judge Laurie A. Dumas of the city of Philadephia. Judge Dumas has served on the bench for over 18 years. And I just want to give a few of her accomplishments before TC introduces her. Judge Dumas is a native Philadelphia. She received her bachelor's degree in sociology from Duke University. She received her Juris Doctorate from North Carolina Central University School of Law, where she was a distinguished member of the Law Review. Judge Dumas is also a graduate of Fell's Institute of Government at the University of Pennsylvania, Diverse Force Board Governance Program, and is also a Georgetown Fellow specializing in systems which service crossover youth. She holds a certificate in diversity and inclusion from Cornell University and is licensed in the state as a personal care home administrator. Judge Dumas has also taught legal courses at several Philly institutions. And I also want to add, Judge Dumas is also of the Democratic Party. Okay, go ahead, TC.
All right, thank you, Polo. Again, it's an honor to be able to be on these panels and to be able to put forth information that is necessary for our folks every single day. These elections are very, very important. Judge Laurie Dumas and I we go way back enough, and it is an honor and a privilege, Judge, to be able to visit you again out and about doing your thing, and to be able to come on these panels with Polo, the creator, and to talk about you, what you've done, your platform, because Tuesday of next week, you're going to be a totally different person. So I just want to say thank you, Polo, for always having your platform open and available for us educating and informing each other and reaching out to everyone all across the land. And of course, Judge Laurie Dumas, you're just a phenomenal sister, and you've never changed, ever. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate our sisterhood, our friendship. Because without those things, the other stuff doesn't mean anything. So, Polo, are you gonna stream? Get some of the little snippets and show some of the judge's accomplishments before we get to the good judge?
Yeah, I do have some highlights.
Okay.
Innovative leader.
Yes.
Okay, ready? Innovative leader
Ready.
in the creation of the first Judicial District's Juvenile Human Trafficking Court. Judge Dumas led many initiatives created to ensure that system children were the beneficiaries of services that could lead them to succeed. Judge Dumas serves as the local chair of a national anti-violence program, which uses literacy as a therapeutic tool to assist the youth who has been traumatized by violence. Yes. And also, Judge Dumas also works tireless with a number of boards and organizations. And you can find that list on the link that my mod is dropping that Armor Brown is dropping in the chat.
So thank you, Armor Brown, and hello to the chat. Are you going to show those highlights?
I just read them. I don't have no bullet points. Okay. I ain't that good.
All right. I got you. All righty. Well, without any further ado, we have here Judge Laurie Dumas. Judge Laurie Dumas, take it away. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, Polo. It is a pleasure and an honor to meet you. Thank you so much for opening up your platform to me. And TC, it goes without saying, you have been a supporter and a sister, just like, you pointed out, because that's really what it is about. We have to support each other. We have to uplift each other in good times and bad times. And I did, as I spoke a little bit earlier today, it's like, and I teach my own kids, what you put in life is what you get back. Right. And so when you pour into people in a positive way, when it's your turn, they pour back. And so I think that that's a valuable lesson, for all of us, and Black people especially. We've got to. Our world is crazy right now, You know, we only have each other. And, you know, I will say that on this campaign trail that, well, I have met a lot of people who don't look like us, who have been very supportive, who have opened their arms to me and their hearts to me, their homes and their support. And I appreciate that. But there's something about, you know, the support of your own, you know, that really validates, you know, the fact that we understand each other, we love each other, and that we're going to have each other's backs no matter what. And so we've got to do that more. We've got to do that more. But so thank you for having me. You know, I'm a judge here in Philly, been a judge. Actually, now it'll be 20 years in February. I have been so blessed to have, you know, this gig, right? This steady gig for almost 20 years, but it really is a ministry. And, you know, I've been serving the people of Philadephia from this bench, and I've been doing it in a way where I understand that it's a ministry, and it's my purpose to make sure that, you know, the people that come before me get the justice that they deserve. And I have been blessed to do it from many different places, meaning that I've served in juvenile court, I've served in, you know, adult criminal court, and now civil court. And so I have a kind of balanced out my experience. And I think I've kind of, you know, I've worn out my welcome a little bit. It's time for me to move on and to do other things, and to be able to make a bigger impact, and not just touching the lives of Philadelphians, but also the lives of Pennsylvanians from a court that's so, so, so important. We need people with empathy and who understand the law, who are not afraid to use their intellect for what is good and what is right. And we need people who, you know, are not robots, you know, on these seats, and who understand that we have to put people first, who understand that, you know, justice, yeah, they say justice is blind, but you know what? You got to take the blinders off sometimes to really see the whole picture. And you have to, you know, you've got to be willing to do that. And not necessarily always making the most popular decisions, but always doing what's right, no matter what. And so that's where I'm trying to go. I'm just trying to, you know, push a little higher, and really, you know, impact systems which impact our lives. I want the chance to do that. So thank you so much for letting me chat about it tonight.
No problem, no problem. Like I said before we came live, I'm honored, you know, that you chose, you know, my platform to, you know, come out and talk to everybody. If anybody have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. But I'll start off, you know, with a question. Go ahead. Go ahead, TC.
Well, you know, I wanted to just formulate a little bit of the outline. In April, the good judge here did what we call a YouTube tour, and about, you know, some of the other content creators, and with other content creators, as a couple, you know, Tita Talks, you know who they are, and you remember Miss B Town Hester, and we had an awesome time with, you know, a lot of at that time with a lot of those folks. And I just wanted to say that was the primary. I'm sorry, that was the primary.
Right.
So now, Judge Dumas, we are here with Polo, and we are here because now you have to go through the primary, and now you're at the general election. A lot of times people don't know that you can vote judges and vote for judges. So we're here in the general election. And so what's the journey been like? Where are you in what should we be as voters be thinking about? And not only here in Pennsylvania, but all over, primaries, general.
Yeah, so, you know, in the primary election is really when you're either you are selecting your nominee, either your Democratic or a Republican nominee that's going to run against each other in the general. And so now, you know, in the general election, I am a Democrat and I'm running against a Republican. Actually, there are two Democrats running against two Republicans in my particular race. And so, you know, it's, you know, so really it's two fights. It's the first part of the fight is the primary. So you're fighting, and you're really scrapping, trying to, you know, make it to the other side. And now we're at the other side, and it's, you know, now it's Democrat, Republican. And, you know, in a general election, you know, no matter where you are, you can vote your party, you can vote, you know, somebody that's for someone who's not in your party. That's the beauty of the general election. So, you know, I have been trying to, you know, definitely helping the Democrats to understand the importance of voting for judges, but also convincing, you know, Republicans and independents that, listen, I may be a Democrat, but, you know, judges, once they get to the bench, you know, all of that political stuff goes out the door. You know, we are supposed to rule according to the law. There are not supposed to be any outside influences that impact, you know, our decisions. And I know that, you know, I've had the opportunity to speak to so many different, you know, people around the state, and I've told them that, you know, justice and service, which is what judges really are there for, has no color, has no party, has no gender, right? And we have to make sure that we are electing judges that in their hearts, they're not just saying those words, but they actually believe at their core that they are there, and they are there to do a job for everyone. And what's particularly important about our race in Pennsylvania with these judgeships that are open on the state level is that in my court in particular, as well as our Supreme Court, you know, we hear elections cases. And so those cases that are where there are challenges to how we conduct elections, when there are challenges to, you know, whatever processes are being challenged as it relates to elections, this particular court that I am going to will hear those cases. And, you know, Pennsylvania being one of those states that can impact and it's a whole national election, as you saw it last year in 2020. You know, Pennsylvania is one of the main reasons why our White House looks like it does, and everybody knows that. And so our court systems, our courts made sure this court that I'm sitting on was the only court in the nation where the voter fraud cases that were put forth by our past president, the only win he got was out of Pennsylvania. And so if our Supreme Court had not overturned that decision, our White House may look very different this day. And so, you know, judges are not here to just say guilty or not guilty. And that's what, unfortunately, our community thinks. No, we impact just about everything that is important to people, to households, to children, to elderly. Everything comes through a court decision. So even though you have your legislature that may be legislating, you know, and they're putting forth bills and resolutions, well, guess what? The constitutionality of all of those have to be challenged, have to be determined. And the determination of the constitutionality of the legislature's work comes through the courts. It comes through the courts. And that's the reason why courts are so important. Courts impact our lives, our day-to-day, more so than any order that will come out of the executive office. You know, yes, we love the fact that Joe Biden won, those who are happy about it. You know, we are ecstatic to have, you know, Sister Kamala as our vice president. But when one of our family members is standing before a judge in our local jurisdiction, neither one of them are coming down to have any say about what goes on in that courtroom. And so we have to make sure we are voting locally, voting for our school boards, voting for our county commissioners, and depending on, you know, which jurisdictions are here, you know, your local government matters. And we have to get involved, make sure that our voices are heard, because if our voices are not heard, we have nothing to complain about. We have to then deal with whatever it is that is there or who is there, because we've not exercised our voices by voting.
We have a question. If the political and party aspect goes out of the window once you're elected, why do the candidates run under a specific party?
Specific party. That is such a great question. And it's because that's the way our system is set up. Pennsylvania is one of those states where judges are still elected, and and that's the way that the elections are set up, as you run under a specific party, and you're elected. And you're right, once you get in, that is supposed to go out of the window. And of course, then because in Pennsylvania, once your term is up, you then run for retention. And when you run for retention, there is no party. There is no party identified in the voting booth or on the ballot, only as you're getting in. And I will say, and I've had the question from some voters that I've met along the way that have asked, like, well, why don't we, how do you feel about judges being appointed as opposed to elected? Because they think that won't that kind of help take some of the politics out? And what I say is, listen, that system is not perfect, is not perfect, and neither is the system that we are using now, where we're voting for judges. However, I am a firm believer that the people's voices must never be silenced. And that's for anything. I believe that people have a right to voice their opinions and to voice their votes. To me, that's democracy. And when you set aside a select few people to make the decision about who our judges are going to be, I don't think that's any better. As a matter of fact, I think that could be worse, and even more so politically motivated than the process that we have now. And so the system is not perfect, and I can't explain it. Of course, it's our system, it's the way it's set up, and until somebody comes up with a better way to elect judges and not have us be so partisan, as we're trying to get in, this is what it is. This is all we have right now.
One more question. What is Judge Dumas's opinion on her state's vaccine or test mandate?
So for those of you who do not know, judges are not permitted to talk about, first of all, we can't have an opinion on anything that potentially will come before the court. Okay. And what I will say about this particular question, these issues, both of these are regulated by the Commonwealth in Pennsylvania. Actually, in all states, the state government is actually making the mandates or not. So all of these cases that are being filed or will be filed or continue to be filed, challenging both the state's vaccine or test mandate, guess who will hear those when they come to Commonwealth Court? Probably right. Judge Dumas. I will get some of them, I'm sure. And so, I'm not free to give my opinion. I will say that I am a proponent of policies that make sense and that do not violate people's rights, but that also ensure that that people's lives are protected. And so whatever that means, but I can't agree or disagree. I just have to wait for the cases to roll in, and once I begin to issue my opinions, you guys hold me and you come back and look and see, then you'll be able to see how I ruled. Yes. But it really depends on the facts. It really depends on the law. And I will tell you, this court is a court that we're there to ensure that the government doesn't overpower the voice of the people. That's what we're there for. And that's where we start. That's the standard. That's the standard. And then we have to look at the facts, and we have to really see how the facts balance against that standard and make decisions that make sense, that are rooted in the law, and that are fair and just.
Perfect answer.
Those were two good questions, actually. Very good questions.
They were very good questions.
I just want to put a little promotion out there. This November the 2nd, which is Tuesday, here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we are, it's the general elections. I think all over the country, the general elections.
Listen, there are 35 states who have elections on November the 2nd. 35
November the 2nd. Okay.
We have them here.
Texas is one too.
Yeah, we election day.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, everyone vote Judge Laurie Dumas, Laurie A. Dumas at that, in case there's another one. You know how You never know what the way
There won't be one on
technology
the
is.
ballot, that's for sure.
Right.
Okay. So vote for Judge Laurie A. Dumas for Commonwealth Court of Pennsylvania here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So if you're in Philadephia, Pittsburgh, Erie, and wherever in Pennsylvania one might be, please call your friends, call your foes, call your anybody that lives here in Pennsylvania and tell them to please vote for Judge Laurie Dumas on Tuesday. This Tuesday coming up, November the 2nd.
Yes.
You know what I
And
know?
Judge,
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, TC.
I just wanted to say to the judge, whenever she can get to it, Polo, just talk about what inspired you. How are you inspired to become and how to become a judge? And what was your journey in that way? From your childhood, what was that, and so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Good question. Good question.
So, my journey. Wow. So, my mom was a single mom. She was tough as nails. She didn't have an education. But she made sure that we all went to school. I'm the baby of 3, and she was no nonsense. She worked hard. She worked in a factory because she didn't have an education. She worked in a factory to make sure that we had the necessities. We didn't have a lot, but she made sure we were safe. She made sure that, as I said, we understood the value of education, but she also made sure that we understood how blessed we were, even though we didn't have a lot. And so her motto was we always had enough to share. We always had enough to, ensure that, if somebody didn't have, we were going to share. And, that was hard, as a kid when you're seeing everybody else who you think has so much more, and your mom is always giving and giving. And like I said, we're from a single parent household, so we're already cut. We didn't have two parents, but it was that. And I saw her, in spite of what we didn't have, to always, make sure that she extended herself. And I think that it was I know that undergirds my my desire to serve always, no matter what, even to my detriment. I mean, it's the same thing. It's I just believe that all of the blessings, any of the blessings that I have received are for other people. They're not for me. And so, I have gone, I believe, probably above and beyond what I should have many times, to help in many different ways. But I don't even think twice about it. It's natural. It's natural for me. So being on the bench is the natural fit, because that's what we do. We're there to serve. We're servant leaders. And, it has been, it was that. And also my mom's, just steadfastness and perseverance, in making everything work, even though, she was a Black woman at a time when, it wasn't vogue for Black women to even own homes. My mom was an older parent, so she saved her money. She worked hard. She bought a house. Every time the neighborhood got bad, in her opinion, we'd move, right? Because she wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to keep growing and learning and moving forward. And she went back to school in her 50s, and got her education. She went and got her GED. She went to college and got her bachelor's, and then she became a teacher. Once again, still giving, still giving of herself until her last days. When my mom passed away in 2012, and her life really was, and she had a rough life. She had been abused as a child. She didn't even have, she gave us more than she had, right? And she did the best job that she could as a parent with her own limitations, or in spite of her own limitations. But I'm telling you, and listen, she and I battled. We battled because she was so tough, and she was hard. She was soft, but she was hard because her exterior was hard because of her experience in life, right? And as a kid, you don't really understand that. But as I am, able to, push forward and do things that some people will look and be like, I don't even know how she did that. You know, I don't even know, you know, how she has the time to do that. Or I look back to my mom, you know, who was strong. She was strong. And, you know, I just thank her. I wish I could thank her now. You know, I wish you were here to see this, because look, my mom was my biggest cheerleader. I will say that if nobody else cheered for me, my mom would. My mom would come down to the courtroom and sit. Oh Lord, my mom. Listen, my mom watched. My mom watched the OJ trial, and I think I was just. I don't even remember. I don't know if I was a newly. I don't know if I was on the bench or was going to the bench or I was a lawyer. Anyway, I was in the legal field, and she was watching something about the evidence or whatever. She called Johnny Cochran's law firm and told the law firm, my daughter is so and so and so and so, and I'm telling you, you need to look for this. It was some piece of evidence they forgot, and I was like, Mom, please stop calling these people. They're gonna think you're crazy, and they're gonna think I'm crazy. Don't do. But I'm just. She was just so proud, you know, of my accomplishments. All of my, you know, my sister, my brother as well. It wasn't just me, but I was the baby, right? I was the baby, so I was the last one. But you know, it was her. It was her love. It was her support. It was her courage. It was her strength. It was her determination, and it was her heart that really undergirds who I am. So. Yeah.
Awesome.
It was awesome. Very inspiring. So we have a question from the chat. Orman Brown wants to know, what has been your greatest accomplishment during your tenure of being a judge in your personal life? That's a two-part question.
So I'll answer my personal life first, because that's easy. And my greatest accomplishment is being a mom. That's my greatest accomplishment in my personal life. I have 3. I can't even call them babies anymore. You know, TC, you see, my babies are not babies anymore. I have 3. I have 2 adults. I have 2 adults now and a high school student. And listen, the honor of being their mom, the honor of, you know, just God giving me life to mold and to help shape and direct. You know, once again, not perfect. I can say like my mom, clearly not perfect, but have done, you know, what the things that I think that I could do to help them to move along on their journey. And so as it relates to my work life, it would be the creation of the Juvenile Human Trafficking Court. So I service young trafficking victims from the ages of 10 to 21 who were commercially and sexually exploited. And, you know, I learned about trafficking through a ministry in my church, took that to work, adapted it to my, you know, to the babies that I was working with through the court system, and was able to learn all about trafficking. I made sure that I was educated, you know, before I started the court. Then I was able to entice other stakeholders to like jump on board and like, guys, listen, like we have a chance to really impact these lives and help these young people to heal from the inside out. And these are some of the most broken children that I've ever met in my entire life. And you can't imagine unless you're there, you're living it either with them in their personal lives, or you're living it through the court experience. And just having the opportunity to be innovative enough to start a program that really put the courts in another light. You know, it took the courts out of that, you know, that harsh kind of punishment perspective, and put us in the light of a change agent, you know, and really wanting to change the lives of young people who we weren't servicing, even though they were in our system. And so the model became a national model. I was able to, you know, go around the country and talk to other judges and other stakeholders to help them to figure out how they were going to create programs in their court systems or in their child welfare systems. And so even though it helped Pennsylvania, Philadephia and Pennsylvania, it put us on the map, you know, as it related to child protection and making sure that our children were safe from predators. it gave me an opportunity to extend that reach to other jurisdictions so that not just our children could benefit from these types of initiatives, but children from all over the country could as well. And, you know, it's funny. I got a text from one of my young ladies, because, you know, a lot of them have because I'm not in the court anymore, because I've moved on and the court has changed. You know, that's just how, you know, stuff happens. But, you know, most of them have my cell phone numbers. And so every once in a while, somebody will text and they'll need something, or they just want to talk, or they want to show me a picture. And the young lady sent me a picture of her baby, and, you know, and I was like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. And she's like, Judge, I miss you so much. And like, I miss you too. And, you know, we kind of went back and forth for a little bit. And then she sent me some papers. Well, Judge, can you tell me what this is? And she took a picture of some legal papers that she had, and I explained them to her. And, you know, it's just, it's almost like they're my babies too, right? Like my kids, they just never go away. And it's okay if I can still be that lifeline, you know, to them, even though I don't see them like I used to, you know, because they've aged out of the system, most of the young people that I had. But being able, giving them just that little teeny opportunity to contact me if they need to, even if it's just to know that they have something consistent in their life that's not ever going to hurt them, could be enough to make them not take those drugs, or enough for them to make sure they go to that job interview the next day, you know. And that's the role that I'm playing now. So my role has changed, you know, back and forth a little bit of the role that I play in their lives. But the fact that for some of them, I am still there, man, that warms my heart. It's, you know, it's mind blowing. And I'm grateful for that.
You know, Judge Dumas, Polo, I need to share with you and to the chat just a little snippet of, you know, something that happened a couple of years back with the good judge, and working in the nonprofit sector, working with some young people going to college. There were a slew of young ladies who were going to a particular college here in Pennsylvania. And, you know, we take for granted what we think people have and things of that nature. So these young ladies were headed to like an over the weekend type of a stay, just to kind of visit the campus and see what college life was all about. They were going to be paired with other young people at the college level. Well, I found out that one of the young ladies did not have luggage. And I was, you know, I had to go take a walk because it was just a lot of stuff that was going on that day. I saw the good judge in one of our most, you know, awesome, you know, cafes here in the city of Philadelphia. And, you know, of course, you know, we always hug and all that kind of good stuff. What's going on? And then I just had to let it out, you know, and I said, this young lady, she needs luggage. And it wasn't that we weren't going to get it or couldn't get it, but it was just, you know, I just felt that we're in the 2000s and we're still here. We still need each other. So about 2 days afterwards, or the finishing of that weekend, the good judge says, come on by. And I did. And I went by, and they were like, you know, like different, like all kinds of luggage. And they were all, you know, different, you know, different sizes and all that kind of stuff. And the same, it was just, they were beautiful, absolutely amazing. I mean, not amazing, but beautiful. And not that this is something that the good judge doesn't do. And, you know, Judge Dumas, we would do that anyway. You know, Dr. Smart, yourself, you know, Celeste, you know, everybody, we would do that. But to get a call, it was just awesome. And that young lady is getting ready to graduate. I said it. She was getting ready to graduate, and she's following you. As a matter, she's gonna vote for you, because I'm in contact with some people. So yeah, she can vote now. So, you know, of course they're grown, but yeah, you know, but these are just some impromptu things that have occurred throughout. You know, just knowing the good judge, these just not having to ask, just doing, like you said, your mother would do the same thing you have done. And, you know, Polo, And there's several people, you know, Almond Brown. There's several people right here in these chats. You know, Miss B-Town, Tita, Raw, Joyce. There's you know, a bunch of folks that are always doing and sharing and making sure that all of our young people have access to. So I just want to thank you for that. And I always have to mention that because a lot of times she's not going to say it, Polo. She would never tell you that. She would never say it. But we have to, as sisters, we have to let everyone know this. She did it, and it's not bragging. It's thank you. It's just thank you. I have a couple of questions for the good judge. Polo, will you allow me to not judge?
Can I get the chat questions out the way right quick? We got 2.
Yes, absolutely. Because we're not going to judge you, Judge. We're not going to judge you.
Okay, I have a question. Sephora has a question. I have a question.
Oh, yes.
Have you experienced racism within your field? If so, how did you deal with that issue?
So if there's any Black person who has never experienced racism, can I please meet that person? Because you know,
right.
I live in the same world all of you do. It is no different. And I will tell you that and maybe this is my mom too, because we had these types of conversations when I was little. Because, you know, I mean, when my mom bought her first house, you know, when she came back to the house, you know, after you go to the closing and she comes back, and the owners had wrote, I sold to a nigger on our garage. So, you know, we've had these conversations many times, and way before I really understood what racism was. So she prepared me. And I think because of that preparation, what I do, and I know this is not everybody, and you may think that this really sounds just crazy, but my attitude towards racist is bye, Felicia. Like, I don't have time for it. I'm not going to let you stop me. I recognize you and in your track, so I know what I'm seeing, feeling, hearing, smelling, tasting. And so because I am prepared, I know how to deal with it. And I figure out a way around it and keep it moving. Most of the time, I don't even acknowledge it because it doesn't make sense to acknowledge it, because most of the time, what you're going to get is, oh, no, that's not, oh, I didn't mean that. So I don't even waste my time. I don't have time. And I've met so many other people, you know, who don't look like us, to balance out that negativity from people who are just ignorant, that it doesn't even faze me. I keep it moving. And that's what I tell the young people. Don't get stuck there. Please do not get stuck there. Because if you get stuck there, then they've won.
Right.
Then they've won. You got to keep it moving. Do what you need to do. Figure it out. Figure out how to get away around it, because you're never going to change that. And you don't get stuck in places, and you don't get stuck trying to resolve issues that you're never going to resolve. Keep it moving. And that's what I do. Keep it moving.
Okay. Louie has a question. Are there any distinctions outside of the name as it pertains to residing and or living in a Commonwealth versus a state?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know everything. And I know that there are a few, you know, Virginia is a Commonwealth. We're a Commonwealth. I don't know. I don't really know the differences. I don't know, honestly. I don't know. I really don't. So I can't answer that. I'm a lawyer at heart, because that's how I, you know, of course you got to be a lawyer first, be a judge. So I can look it up. I can look it up, but I really don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry.
It has something to do with the legislative body.
I will say that most of the Commonwealths are the ones that we fight hard for to keep our democracy in check. So I do know that. And usually when the wind is blowing one way politically in one of the Commonwealths, so goes the other. So that's the reason why keeping our eye on Virginia for Pennsylvania is very, very important. It's very important.
Go ahead, TC.
I was just going to say that the good judge is absolutely correct. It has something to do with the legislative the general assemblies and the legislative body, and how it's formatted differently in the state as opposed to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I mean, and different than the Commonwealth. So, there's a structural and an organizational dynamic that's different, and the way that stuff flows from down up. In some instances, it doesn't necessarily do the same thing in the Commonwealth.
Okay, I'm sorry. Because I'm quick, y'all McGraw. I went to Google because Google tells it all. And, no, there is no difference. It's only in the name. Basically, it says only in the name. Commonwealths are just like any other state, and their politics and their law structure may be a little different. TC, you may be right a little bit there, but there's no difference in their relationship to the nation. So we have the same status, as it relates to electoral processes and, how, bills move through the system and all. We do it the same way that a state does. So, so there's the answer to the question. And listen, one thing I can tell you, I'm never afraid to tell you that I don't know. Right. Because I'm really, I don't really have to deal with that as a judge on my level. But thank you for asking the question and giving me an opportunity to learn something tonight right here with you. So thank you.
Okay, TC, you want to go ahead with your don't judge, and then we have 2 more questions in the chat once you're done.
Okay.
Well, first, after
don't judge me.
Hold on. After your segment, we're going to see if the honorable judge would want a water break or something.
Okay.
Water break.
My phone is
yes.
blowing up.
Okay.
It's crazy. And as a matter of fact, one of my so I'm a member of Pyramid 17 here in Philadephia, and I'm looking at the chat and I'm seeing the daughters saying, "Tune in," and telling them about. So I must have some of my sisters on this call. That I can't see.
Yeah, because yes, I did that. Yeah.
Okay, so
I told
if y'all in the bleachers, just stop on down and drop, so she know you're here.
Yes,
and also you're also a part of a sorority. What is it?
Yes, I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I'm members of the Links Incorporated. And a newly installed member of Pyramid 17, the daughters of ISIS.
Daughters of ISIS. Yes. So anybody have any colors? The pink, the green, everybody's colors. Go ahead, put some hearts out there, y'all. Put some hearts. And we have a segment here, Judge, because a lot of times people think that judges or some of these people are just so untouchable. But you're regular folks, right? You're just regular people.
All day long.
Ordinary people, So we have something here called "Don't Judge Me." So I have a couple.
Hey.
Steph.
Hey, hi. Hello, my sister.
Yes. Okay. So I have 5 questions, real easy. They're so easy. Okay. So just okay. So what would you prefer? A beach, the beach, or the mountains?
Oh no, beach every time. I'm a beach girl
all the time.
I don't have a beach body, but I love the beach. Love the beach. Yes.
Okay, all right, beach it is. All right, so Brussels sprouts or collard greens?
Collard greens.
Okay.
Greens with some turkey wings. Yes.
Okay. All right. Stilettos or flip-flops?
Flip-flops.
Okay.
Flip-flops.
Gotcha. All right.
Listen, I used to love stilettos. Gravity and age has interrupted that. Give me some flip-flops. I'll wear flip-flops until the snow hits the ground.
Okay. Until the snow. Gotcha.
Until the snow hits the ground. Yes.
Gotcha. Porsche Cayenne or Maybach?
Oh God, the Porsche. The speed.
Yes.
The Porsche.
Yes.
You have to live.
Okay.
Only live once.
Yes. I love it. I know some folks out there. Okay. All right. Steph, we got you. And last but not least, now you this is really not for me because I kind of already know this answer, but here's it. Tupac or Biggie?
Now, you asked me this before. I told you it's Tupac all day long. Tupac.
You see? This is you see what I'm saying, Polo? This is you see what I mean?
Yes.
Total disrespect. This is disrespect.
I'm Tupac.
Total, you know.
Tupac too.
You Tupac. See, I'm a Biggie. I'm Biggie all day. Come on now.
Let me tell you something. That young man was way before his time.
Right.
Way before his time.
That's true.
And when you see people like that, they don't live long lives. They really don't. And it's scary. Like when I meet people who are like really like deep, like when you look beneath the surface, read between the lines, I'm afraid for them, because my experience has been that they don't live long lives. They come here, they give the knowledge they're supposed to give, and that's it. And then they're out of here. So yeah,
absolutely. And now you've been to New York quite a few times, and but that's okay. It's all right. I don't have any feelings invested in this. However, it's all good. But those were my 5 questions, just to kind of break the ice, but to also just to share and let people know that even our judges, those that are our elected officials, regular people, they have some interesting. If you ask them, they'll tell you some things, and you're like, wow, I didn't know they knew Tupac. I didn't know they knew. Yes, well, indeed, absolutely.
Well, I think what, TC. I think it's because some of us try to act like we're not human, or we're not. Regular people. And I feel sorry for them. I really do, because I couldn't act. That's somebody that has to act all day long. That has to be exhausting. It has to be really exhausting. And exactly. I'm just not, I can't do it. I am me. Like this is who I am. And I'm going to say, I'm not saying that everybody likes it, but it's who I am. And I can't, and I, this is who I am. So,
and that's it.
Yes, I know how to be a professional. Yes, I know how to do my job. Yes, I know how to get down to business. But being a judge is what I do. It's the job that God gave me to handle some business. But He made me first. Who I am is first. It's a person first, a woman, a sister, a mom, an aunt, and like. No, that's me. That's who we are. And if we stopped trying to put ourselves so far above everyone else, then maybe we would really realize how we could really make the impact that we need to make from our spaces, whatever that space is.
There you go. So, and saying that, I just want to say, vote for Judge.
Polo can't even get a word in.
Go ahead, Go ahead.
No, I just want to do the commercial. That's all. I just want to do because Polo's gonna get us back on task. Polo always gets us back on task. Vote for Judge Laurie Dumas for Commonwealth Court of Pennsylvania, November the 2nd. This Tuesday, November the 2nd. That's it.
Hi, daughter Tony. I see my daughter Tony is down there. Hello, my sister. Thank you.
Tony.
Yes.
So do you need a water break, Judge Dumas?
Yeah, you know what? Can I get a few minutes? Because I need to plug up, because I'm getting ready to lose some battery.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop you down.
Okay.
The way you can get up and hold on. Okay. You can go ahead and do what you got to do, because you're off screen. Okay, thanks everybody for we want to go say hello to everybody that stopped in while the honorable judge is taking care of what she needs to take care of. Judge, whenever you're ready, just come back in and wave, and then I'll bring you back up. TC, I can't hear you. Oh, you went on mute. So I hope everybody's enjoying.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
If you left a question in the chat, Lou, you're up next, and we'll go ahead and continue with the questions. So if anybody have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. She's here to answer.
I see Brooklyn, New York. Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody that stopped by. Linda B, Brooklyn, New York, Vegas girl, Sephora.
That's right.
I don't want to miss nobody. Jada LaRue was here.
Great questions.
Yeah, very great questions. Very great. I'm learning something too. I'm learning something. If
we want something different, we have to do something different.
Right. And then you know what she said? She said she's human. And that goes back to what she was saying in the beginning about a bunch of robots. So,
That's right.
I get it.
That's right.
For anybody that comes in, feel free to hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, and we appreciate you for being here. If it's your first time here, welcome. You ready, Judge? I can't hear you. I don't know if you're ready. Give me a wave if you're ready. All right, there you go. Okay, we're going to continue on. All right, so we're going to get Louay's question. How does Judge Dumas deal with highly stressful cases that may challenge her morality? With holding such power, how does she maintain peace? Oh, that's a good one.
Y'all getting deep tonight. Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, I will say that, the morality question is a deep one. And being a woman of faith, grew up in the church. And there I have had some cases that I've had to struggle with, because I have to rule based upon the law first and foremost. It doesn't matter how I feel. It doesn't matter what my opinion is. And I think that I had to finally resolve that within myself. And I had to pray about it. I had to pray about a few cases that, I really felt like, oh my God, are you going to, what's going to happen? Like, because you said this, right? But the law says this. And this is what, where I believe this is where you want me to be. And so I've done that. And, I've had peace about that now. But I'm just waiting. I won't know until I get up there. I won't know until I get there.
Right.
But yeah, it's hard because we don't get to pick and choose. We can't follow the law when we agree with it, right? Or when we don't feel some kind of way about what the law says, or what it is. We take an oath, and we have to follow that oath. And if we don't, then we don't belong there. And I think if it ever has gotten to the point where a judge has to rule on something and believes that their morality should take priority, they should turn in their robe. They should. And then the peace part, that's hard. I only say it because people perceive the power more so than I embrace it. And so it's everybody else that's like, oh, she's a judge, and oh, this is what's expected of her. And, and while I do recognize that, being a judge does come with huge responsibility and authority, I do realize that I'm not God. So I don't see myself the same way other people see me. And sometimes I even laugh, and I don't mean to, but I'm around people sometimes, and I'll say to, someone that I'm close to, or I'll explain the situation, or they may have, been in the presence of the situation, and they'll be like, well, they're petrified of you. And I'm like, why? It's just me. And it's because I don't embrace that authority as if it makes me more than. And so my peace gets disturbed when people try to impose their perceived power and how they feel I am or should be on me. Right? So that's really what disturbs my peace, more so than this power. Because I don't look at it as power. I look at it as the authority to do what's right. The responsibility to do what's right. I don't look at it as power, and I don't use it as such. use my gavel or my robe or my position as a sword for any purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because people, was talking about a traffic. I was parked somewhere I wasn't supposed to be parked. And so somebody said, well, Judge, if you get a ticket, you know, don't you just take it down there? I was like, yeah, I take it down there and I pay it like everybody else. If I park somewhere I'm not supposed to park and I get a ticket, then I pay for it. You know, I don't try to get, you know, I don't use my power, you know, and even when I have disagreements, well, I'm in this, because, you know, I do have disagreements in Home Depot and stuff like that, you know, places, but I don't say I'm the judge and you're, who does that? People do. I just don't do it. And so my lack of peace as it relates to that whole issue is really not because of me or because of, you know, it's because of other people's stuff that they want to kind of put on me. And I'm like, no, that's not me. Like, I don't have the issue. You have the issue. And so, you know, but other than that, I really try. I will say I try to do stuff for me every now and then to kind of to bring peace, just because of all of the hard cases and the, you know, I have not mastered that I have to do more of. My husband tells me, he's like, yo, you really need to do you. Like I mean, even at home, it's like, it's about everybody else. So I'm going to put that at the top of my priority list, you know, after we get this campaign out of the way and, you know, kind of life gets back to normal. I've got to really prioritize me and my peace. So that's going to be a transition for me. So. Boy, Almond is on a roll here.
I know it. Yes.
That was a
yes.
I'm talking. I'm on mute. I'm sorry. And Almond Brown says, in your opinion, what is or was one of the most frustrating aspects of being a judge?
I think being grouped in with judges who don't do the right thing. That's very frustrating. And I think it's unfair. I just think it's human. And I walk this walk as a judge as relates to, you know, what we do professionally. And I do it in a spirit of excellence. I do it in a way where when I go home at night, I can sleep. I've done the job. I've you know, now everyone's saying this, and I don't know where this came from. I just started seeing it. What was it? I completed the assignment, or whatever it is they're saying now.
I understood the assignment.
I understood the assignment. I don't know where that came from.
It's a song. It's a song.
Yeah. Okay. So I can say that about my work, right? When you have people who come to the bench for the wrong reasons, who or don't understand why they're there, it reflects upon all of us, and especially judges of color, especially.
Yeah.
And so I really get annoyed and frustrated when I have to, as hard as it was to get here and to build up a stellar reputation, for one judge to totally, you know, with something, you know, crazy, whatever, to kind of flip that and have everybody go back down to the bottom and have to crawl their way back up as it relates to integrity and being in respect, that frustrates me. And it also frustrates me because we're there to do a job. We're there to serve the people. It is not about us. It is not about, you know, I wear the black robe, I sit high, I look low. It ain't about none of that. It's about the people that are in front of us that we are serving. And when judges don't do that or don't understand that, that frustrates me to no end.
Okay. All right. Almond has another question.
Does she really?
Yeah. How did you deal with a case and the judgment decided that went against your moral compass, do your family members look at you different during those times?
I don't talk, very rarely do I talk cases or talk work at home. So the answer to that question is no, because I know the cases that I'm referring to, I have not had those conversations with family members. So yeah, so no, yeah, I don't, and I'll be honest with you, I have a very small family, and we're not, we don't talk as much as we should, and especially since my mom passed away. So I would talk about some things with my mom. The reason why I didn't share a lot with my mom, because my mom also could not hold water. So she sometimes she would say things that just in conversations that I'm like, no, you weren't supposed to tell that, you weren't supposed to say that. And so I learned that from other situations, so I couldn't be very specific with her about things, because and just everything is not for everyone. And so to this question, no, there is no issues with family, because I really didn't discuss that stuff. These were personal things that I really felt like it was just me and him upstairs that I really needed to work through, because it wasn't like, I'll be honest with you, initially some of the cases, I actually had to go to my supervising judge to recuse myself until I could be comfortable enough and get my own self straightened out, so that I knew that when I was listening to the cases, I was there in an unbiased state. And that's another thing judges have to do. You've got to check yourself. We all have that responsibility. Yes. When something doesn't feel right and it's itching us, and we feel that little twinge, and just something is bothering us about whether it's the case, the subject matter, the people, we have an obligation to make sure that if we can't shake that, we need to let that case go. We need to let it go. Right. And you can go to leadership. Doesn't have to be all, detailed about the explanation. But if you feel that you can't be 100% unbiased in a case, you shouldn't hear it. You should not hear it. And that's my belief.
We have a judge down here that just recused herself from, I don't know if y'all heard about the little boy that was found. They found the kids abandoned in the house. Well, that judge that's gonna try the mother, she recused her. Well, I don't know if it's a lady judge or not a male. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming it's a lady judge, but she recused herself. I guess she just couldn't take it. So I do agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, and that was the right thing to do. That was the right thing to do, because
So
go ahead.
No, so Judge Dumas, I was going to ask you about mental health, and kind of like segueing that into what you're talking about already. Mental health, just being able to, like you said, excuse yourself from a situation, a case, sometimes even on our jobs, just having that mental health day or days. What is your thoughts? What are some of your thoughts about mental health and us as Black people today? What's going on?
Well, I really think that, between COVID and, social media and the of course, the killings of George Floyd, right there for all of America to see, although we know that that's not new to our community. Right. We know that's not new, but the fact that America watched it, and then what the aftermath was. And I mean, not just the riots, but then the justification that later ensued, and everything was so public, and we're watching this as if it were a movie, but it's reality, and it is impacting so much of who we are as a nation, right, as this thing unfolds. I think that the post-traumatic stress of Black people in America has been ignored for a very long time. And a lot of us exist in spite of. We go to work in spite of. We raise families in spite of. We do what we do in spite of. But I think that the pressure points have really kind of risen to the top because of COVID and all of these things that have ensued after. And I talked about George Floyd and his murder, and I just and then all around the country, and now with the criminal justice reform, and now we're watching all of the things that we've heard about, and even in the courtrooms that we see, like these are cases that we see, the police brutality cases, like we see those, all the time. They just don't make the news. But it's not new. But now, all of America is weighing in, on what is and what isn't, and then the stress of COVID as it relates to our kids and them not going to school, and are they getting the education that they need and they deserve, and the lack of funding for schools to make sure that they can still stay on par with their peers from the the other school districts. There's just so much that weighs so heavily on our mental health. All of us have to find a way to make sure that we are getting the help that we need, and whether that's through a professional, whether that's through meditation, whether that's through church, whether that's through exercise, whatever it is, we all have to take responsibility for ourselves to make sure that we are doing the things that we need to do to keep us healthy mentally. Because if not, we're going to be in trouble. We're going to be in trouble. And it's not easy. It's not easy. And there were so many, there were issues, just, dealing with, and the judges, when we were going back to work, when we weren't going back to work, judges that didn't want to come in because they were older, and and then judges that were younger felt like, well, God, we're doing more of the work than the other ones. And then and of course then we have our own stuff, like I said, kids, are they going to school or they're not going to school, and just and then too, being in the house, even with your your partners or your spouses, or just your kids, and everybody's going to start crazy because nobody's used to being in the house like that all the time. It's just so many things, which is why we need each other more than ever. We really, really do. We have to stop the foolishness, the exclusion of each other from whatever. We need each other more than ever. And if we don't figure that out by now, if we don't get it together now, figure it out by now, I don't know. I really don't know what to say. And honestly, and it's not just Black people. I say it because we're on a call. We're talking Black women, and we do need each other. But honestly, this nation needs to heal. We need each other. Community needs each other. We really need to figure out a way to stop ostracizing people based upon things that they can't control, like their color. Right. I can't help that I'm Black. That's who I am. It's never going to change.
Exactly.
Right. Stop. People's, sexual orientations. Who cares? Do what makes you happy. Do what, stop making people feel like they're not included. Stop making people feel like because you have your opinion, who cares about your opinion? Let's just work together, live together in harmony, figure out how to make sure that our kids are going to be able to have a legacy, or we're leaving them a legacy of hope, as opposed to just the opposite of just tragedy. I feel so sad for these kids. Every day I wake up and I see another one of our kids gone. I don't know how much more they can take. I really don't. I've never experienced any tragedy like this as a child. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I know it's not just Philadelphia. It's all over the country. And it is absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable. And so if that's not enough for us to stop being petty, stop, Black women treating each other like, oh, I don't like her because she thinks she's cute. Like, please, just stop. Let's heal each other, help each other heal, so we can heal our communities and we can be the strength that our kids need, because they are suffering and we are so caught up in our own nonsense that we don't even see it.
Okay, Armin Brown has another question. Are there any particular problems in being a woman judge?
Well, I just went through that whole thing, Armin, about women, and yes, that is a problem. It's just, the support of other Black women and women judges in particular, and also, we still live in a society where women are treated as less. It doesn't make it any, being a judge doesn't make that any different. Right. And so, trying to, I was never the type that felt like I needed to prove to a man that I was bigger and better. I just always did my job. I just did what I was supposed to do. Period. I'm not going to waste my time trying to make you see that I can hit that nail harder than you. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. Too much time, too much effort. And maybe I'm just lazy in that regard. There was a little laziness in me as it relates to trying to appease other people or trying to make other people feel different ways. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So yeah, it's not easy being a woman, but I will say that, little by little, our society is changing and accepting, the power of women. And listen, and Black and people know this. Our world knows that the power of women. And women, whatever color you are. Right. But I think for us in particular, if we would be more supportive of each other, we would soar much higher.
Right. I agree. Louie
there's a question. This is love you, Louie. Yes.
Yeah. And is there such a thing as a judge's whistleblower committee?
That's cute.
Similar to deal with corrupt judges.
Yes, that's cute. I like that. Whistleblower committee. I like that.
That's a good question.
I can tell you about Pennsylvania. So in Pennsylvania, we have what's called our Canons of Judicial Ethics. And we are ethically responsible for reporting any form of corruption, or anything that we see that in another judge, in the judge's behavior, or whatever a judge may say or do that brings the judiciary in a negative light, or and that could be anything. Like I said, it could be something the judge says, something the judge does. So we and if we know it and don't report it, and then somehow it gets reported and it is determined that somehow or another I knew and didn't report it, then I also am subject to ethics board violations and repercussions. So
that was a good question.
Yeah, that was a good, yeah. Polo, there's Stephanie. She has a good question. Yeah, there you go. See, we're thinking it's just the likes of Polo.
If you can go back in time, what would you tell your younger self?
Oh boy.
There are quite a few things. I would tell my younger self, first of all, do not eat all that sugar and stuff that you thought you could eat, because it shows up later in life. I will tell you that. Number one. I would say, don't take yourself so seriously. Take life one day at a time. And honestly, I think that I would have started. This is what I tell my younger self. I would tell my younger self to save earlier and invest earlier. Definitely. When I look at and don't be wasteful with your money. Don't be wasteful. I'm a car girl. Since I was young and started making my own money, I always liked cars, right? And then when they came out with the lease program, because I was, I had my own law practice when I was young, every 2 years I could have a new car. And it wasn't for showiness. I like cars. But when I think about it, it was wasteful, right? It was wasteful. It wasn't necessary. It's just something I wanted. So you've got to make sure that we're not letting our wants override what makes sense, because we got to look past today and look towards the future. And that's hard for a young person to do. That's hard. And I didn't have, so my mom, because, she didn't have a financial education. She was, my mom credit, this, credit. Please, I would tell my younger self that too. Credit. It would really be like, make better financial decisions. I would do that. And that includes the selection of your mate. But that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation. But I will tell you that when you're making better financial decisions, it does impact who you choose as a mate. It really does. And I'm not talking about, oh, you got to go find a rich man. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is you have to make sure that when you are ready to become one with someone, that you're becoming one and not a half. You're not cutting yourself in half.
Right.
You get that when you get home. But I will tell you, that's Lord, I can write. I really can write a book. Coupled with this election and everything I've been through on this run, this campaign, I think I am ready to write my book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should be straight, no chaser, because this one.
Something like that. Yes.
Yes. You have been. Yeah. This is good. Almond Brown again. I love it. I love her. Yes.
She was just telling her thank you for her answer. She didn't have a question.
Oh, okay.
I think what, she do have one. So
yeah, I thought I saw another one.
Faye Silver says hello, Judge Dumas.
Hi. Hey, Faye.
Yeah, she does.
I love that picture. Faye has.
So Almond Brown says, if you had to blow the whistle on another judge, did you face backlash from your colleagues if it wasn't anonymous?
Yeah, I've never had to do that, Almond, believe it or not. And I'm glad that I haven't had to, but if I had to, I absolutely would, especially if someone's life or liberty is being impacted. I absolutely would, but I haven't had to do that.
I'm glad you didn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you can, I just do another commercial, if you don't mind, because there are new people that come in, so I just want to remind them. This November the 2nd, vote for Judge Laurie A. Dumas for Commonwealth Court of Pennsylvania, for the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So wherever you are in Pennsylvania, if you have family, friends, enemies, whoever they are, get in contact with them, call them, tell them to please come out November the 2nd, this Tuesday, and vote for Judge Laurie A. Dumas for Commonwealth Court of Pennsylvania.
Doc, you are telling the truth.
I like that comment.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. They do. And let me tell you, my husband says it all the time, because he's like, he drove. First of all, my husband will only drive a Toyota. He don't drive nothing but Toyotas. He's like, that's what he drives. It makes sense financially to him. They last forever. And, he's like, he has friends while he's driving a Toyota that have, really expensive cars. And they're coming to him for money. And he's like, what's wrong with this picture? Like, you have this, you got this, I have this, and you're coming to me. And my husband works in, he works in construction. So he said, you're coming to the guy with the dirty boots and asking for, money when you're wearing this, you have that. Like, and so we talk about that, Doc, all the time. They buy what they want and beg for what they need. Absolutely. Right. It is. And it's, and it's, you know what? And it's, even that becomes difficult when you're like, okay, am I really helping this person, or this person really needs my help? Or am I helping them to continue to do this, to not be responsible with their money. And, you know, so we have to make sure that we don't misinterpret, you know, help, right? We have to be careful that we don't misinterpret that, because sometimes our heart will be so big and you don't realize that you are really enabling someone to be irresponsible.
That's it. That's it. Right. Thank you. It's all hot air for sharing. Thank you.
Perfect. Is that what she said? I didn't see that one. Yes, almond is on fire. Yes.
Yeah. TC, you have anything?
No, no, you covered the LGBTQ IABC RESPECT questions. So yeah, you said that. So that's good, because I mean,
like, stop, like, people, you know, like, please just, you know,
right.
Just let people be. That's my thing. And it's just so much easier, I think, for people to come up with reasons why they hate, as opposed to just not hating. Like, they just create reasons, right? They just do. And once again, it just gets tiring. It really does. It gets tiring.
So how do you feel? I mean, how do you feel? What is it looking like out there in the streets?
I mean, listen, I wish I knew. And it's so, I will tell you that we don't have control over what's going to happen, because it really is going to depend on turnout. I've had so many people embrace me and my candidacy, and, you know, and say and offer their support. I see it. I see people posting things. You know, people have, you know, contributed financially, and, you know, and I feel good in that regard. But honestly, I don't know, because what matters is what people do when they mail in those ballots or when they go into the booth. That's when it counts. So no matter how much you gave, or how much you know, hugged me, or how much you know, how many calls you made, what matters is how many people come out to vote and vote for me. So, right. And, you know, I'm really sort of in a four-way race, like, because there are 2 Democrats running against 2 Republicans, but, you know, it's the 2 highest vote getters are going to get the 2 open spots. That could be 2 Democrats, it could be 2 Republicans, it could be 1 Republican, 1 Democrat. So you just don't know. You really don't. So all I know is I've done everything I could do. I've given it my all. And if it's not to be, then I will wake up on November 3rd and go to work where I am now. And that's the worst case scenario. And, you know, I don't think that's a bad deal. So we'll see.
Okay, Stephanie said, thank you for showing your personal side, Judge Dumas. You are so down to earth. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
thank you, Doc.
They stopped in late. So she asked, and will this be your first term?
So, Faye, this will be my first term as an appellate court judge. I'm actually at the end of my 2nd term in my current seat, my current role as a common pleas judge on the trial level. So I would actually be running for retention in 2023 if I don't win. So I will be my second retention. So I've been on the bench for almost 20 years, Faye. So it's not my first term as a judge, but it will be my first term as an appellate court judge.
You know, I know you have a lot of mentors, especially your mother being your first, obviously. Who are some of your mentors? Or when I say who, like, you know, teachers and, you know, somebody that you deem as somebody that affected you.
Yeah. So I had my 5th grade teacher, Miss Arrington, who turned out later in life to become a soror. Well, I became her soror, who passed away. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, Doc. Doc mailed in her ballot already. Thank you.
Oh, okay, Stephanie. Yeah. Yes.
You know, I have you know, Judge Lydia Kirkland, who is one of our municipal court judges, who has been on for a long time, been one of my mentors. It's unfortunate that she's still here, but also Judge Ronald Merriweather, who passed away. A lot of my mentors are not here anymore. Judge Frank Reynolds was a mentor of mine, and these are, you know, as I got to the bench, who really took me under their wing and helped me to understand why I was there, why I was in the seat, and help me to avoid the landmines that are there or present when judges are just getting on the bench. And so, you know, of course we have, you know, just, you know, people I've never met, but of course from afar, really respected and admired their work, their positions, like Justice, you know, Juanita Kidd Stout, of course, you know, Thurgood Marshall. Like we have those types of role models. But the people who I was able to touch, unfortunately, some of them are not here. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I see things in every day, you know, sisters and people that I meet and come in contact with, that though they may not necessarily be mentors, there are things that I admire about their positions and what they do, you know, like some of our clergy, you know, in the city, you know, even our first lady, you know, Dr. Ellen Jo Waller. There are things, you know, that, you know, I admire about her that I try to use when necessary, you know. Lady Kwan, you know, Pastor Kwan's wife, you know, wonderful first lady from Bethlehem Baptist. I mean, I kind of take things from different people and use them, you know, put them in the toolbox and use them when I need to. Because there are so many people that are really, they are models. Sometimes they don't even realize how they're models for others who are coming behind them. And I only pray that there's just even a portion of what I do and who I am, that some, you know, person or some woman or some man or whomever, some lawyer, some judge will say, you know, I got that from Judge Dumas. Like that was what I admire about her. And I've used that, I put that in my toolbox. And, you know, and so I can only hope that, you know, that my work speaks for me, even when I may not say the right things or do the right things, that my work, you know, speaks for me when I act goofy and don't and stray from the path. So, yeah.
So, Alma Brown has another question. How often have you given a wrong verdict? Example, someone released and went to commit the same crime you released them for.
Alma Brown, I can honestly and proudly say, and I'm gonna knock on some wood when I find some, that has not ever happened to me. But I do know judges who it has happened to, and you know, and I will say I've had kids in juvenile court that became adults, you know, after they had, you know, gone through either placement or probation, and they went on and they graduated to the adult system. But it didn't have anything to do with me making a wrong decision. They just, continue to, you know, commit acts of crime after they were done, you know, with whatever they needed to do for me. But, you know, I have had, you know, sometimes, and I will tell you, when I would see things happen, you know, in the city, and there was a time, and when I was in juvenile court, and I knew it was a juvenile involved or somebody who had just kind of left the juvenile system, I would always just brace myself. I would brace myself and have them, the probation department, let me know if it was one of my kids or not. I honestly did. So I don't take lightly, and I never want to be in that position, because, you know, we don't have crystal balls. Judges, we don't, right? And we make decisions that we think are right, you know, and I'm not saying that we always make the right decisions, you know. But that's not easy. And it's the same thing I imagine if a doctor loses a patient, right? I assume that it probably feels sort of the same way. And I've had kids that I've lost that didn't go out and commit another crime or kill somebody, but they were killed. And that's a bad feeling too. Because you feel like, wow, if I would have just did something, if I would have just kept him in placement, if I would have just, kept him on the monitor, or if I didn't release him from probation so soon, or what, you think, man, could I have saved him? But then once again, you have to remind yourself, you are not God. And you don't control.
That's right.
God controls. And whatever the path is, it's the path. And there's nothing that me or anybody else is going to do to change that.
Exactly.
I was not going to do it. I love her.
Right. And I did the same thing. I did it too. I said, let me knock on this wood right here. Because
so I think a follow-up to Faith Silver's question when she was asking you was your first term, and she was asking you, is it civil?
Oh, the court that I'm moving to now?
Right.
Yeah, it's civil court. And I sit in civil now. I've been in civil for a little over 3 years now. On the current court I sit. But yes, it is civil. Civil court matters. Yep.
Wow.
So Louie says, how expensive is it to run a campaign, and what kinds of things are being done to garner support?
Now, Louie, don't do that. You're going to make Laurie faint. You're going to make her faint.
It's crazy. We probably spent $400,000 so far. Louie, it's crazy. It's crazy. And and listen, and the woman who's running for Supreme Court is in the millions. Like it's crazy. And that's one of the reasons why people really believe they're trying to say, yeah, but this is too much. It's going too far. Elections cost too much. It's like you're buying the judgeships, and honestly, in some regards, I can understand that from a layperson's point of view. I can. But the problem is that when you run statewide, that means like we're running in 67 counties. So we have to travel. We have to take staff. Everybody has to eat. They have to sleep when you have to stay overnight. We have to rent a car. We have gas, insurance. And then we have to pay, our consultants. No one's doing anything for free. Let me tell you something. If people tell you that, that's hogwash. No, people make careers out of campaigns, and
right.
If you want to win, then you have to hire, the right staff, and staff that you have the best chance of winning with, who know what they're doing, and they, that's their career. So, and so we're, we raise money through, through unions. We raise money through just asking for donations. And judges, this is the other thing, judicial candidates. And we cannot ask, like, especially the sitting judges, but judicial candidates in Pennsylvania cannot ask for money, which means that they have to have someone, either a professional fundraiser who costs money, or they have to have someone else ask for the money for the judge. So, you have people that you make calls and you're asking people to donate. We have our website. People can go, on the website and donate. So we're, listen, 2 weeks, I guess it was last weekend, Tasha. I mean, TC. We had, where do we have TC? We had, I had a fish fry. Was that last week?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we do it all. We've had stuff from the Union League, which
huge.
is one of our high class places, to the fish fry. We do it all.
The fish fry. That's right. It was all that.
We get every type of donor, every level. We try to appeal to get them to invest in the campaign, because we can't do it without the resources. I mean, we just were able to go up on TV last week, whereas some of my opponents had been on TV, but we had to wait until we had the right, it was the right time, and then we had the money in the bank to be able to make the buys, and and that costs money. It's not cheap to be on TV. Like this right here is a blessing because it's free. right? But I've got to be able to take my message across Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is, I didn't even know Pennsylvania was as large as it is, but 67 counties, and we're not even in every county as it relates to media, but we're targeting, right, to make sure that we get the most bang for our buck. And so we had to do mailers, then we have to pay other counties who are doing mailers, and they're doing their job to help get our message out. We have to, pay them as well. So it's not easy. And I'm gonna be very honest with you. It is not easy for a Black woman or I'm gonna say Black person, but I can say Black woman to raise money in Pennsylvania for a statewide race. It is not. We do not get the same level of support that others get. But once again, what did I tell you earlier? What do? Keep it moving. I keep it moving. We do what we can with what we have. I believe. I mean, I've been even to be able to raise $400,000. That's a lot of money, right? But the majority, the majority of it is from, and I'm talking the two races. I'm talking all the way from the primary, not just right now. So, I have amassed some great support from regular people who have just been blessed in their lives to be able to give large donations. And it's once again, it goes back to how you treat people and what you invest in people, right?
Exactly.
Is what they will invest back in you. So yes, nope, can't ask. I cannot ask. I cannot get on here and say, please. I cannot ask for anything. It has to be either understood, or somebody has to follow up. Like, I cannot physically ask you for money, or I've violated ethical rules. So yeah.
Okay, Miss Almond Brown has another question. Plenty of things happen in the courtroom. What is one of the funniest things that have happened on the bench?
Oh gosh, we have had some moments. We've had moments. So we did have a case, and I can't remember all the specifics, but I remember we had, God, we've had parents dragging kids out the courtroom. We've had a mother, we had a mother lay across the floor so that the sheriff could not take her son out of the courtroom because he was going to be placed. We have had, and you say funny, I say it's funny because sometimes I have to, initially my reaction is to laugh, but then I have to be serious, so I can't laugh. But there are, there was a time when, and I gotta make sure because so some of the things people can remember, and I don't know who's watching, so I have to keep it. So I will say there was a time when a young man was explaining his endowment to the court. I can't even remember why. And he wanted to show me on a ruler exactly what he how long he was talking about. This was a kid. And so I indulged him, and I made sure that the staff found him a ruler. And so then he proceeded to show me. So there are just so many things, but those are the things. And I will say, I would say often, people can't make this stuff up. Some of the things that just happen. I've had older women like grandmoms, because I looked very young when I first took the bench, and they would forget that I was a judge and call me honey. Okay, baby. Yeah, because they're grandmoms. Right. And so, and then you would watch people they were like get quiet to see how I was going to handle it. And listen, that was Miss Mary. I was not going to tell her she had to call me judge. And she called me baby. She called me honey. What could I do? Right. And so, stuff like that. It's stuff like that. And I will say, unfortunately, we don't have enough laughter in the courtrooms because, there's this stuff that is just too painful, especially my time in juvenile court. But you try to kind of break the ice and kind of find the silver linings in the circumstances, but you can't always do that. And sometimes those days were so hard that, you know, when the case was over, I just got up, walked off, and just shut the door. I just needed time to myself because the stuff was just so sad and so ugly and so, you know, unnecessary. The things that have happened to, you know, in our streets and our homes, you know, which is why, you know, I go back to the whole point about, you know, let's just love on each other so we can get each other right and get these homes right, because if not, our kids just don't stand a chance. They don't.
That's right.
So
I just wanted to
go ahead, TC.
Okay. I just wanted to say hello to I am not just alive, I am living. She's in the chat. I just wanted to say hey. Yes, because I love that tag. I love that tag. I'm not just alive, I am living.
Yeah, that's what's up. That is what's up. That's great. That is great. That's great. All right, ladies. My phone is blowing up because my team, you know how many days we have left? What time is it? It's 9:43. So we have all day tomorrow. Look at Faye.
And that's it.
All day tomorrow. And listen, and then that's it. I wake up. So I'm going to get my hair done tomorrow. So I'm trying to look cute for election day. So I'm going to get my hair done tomorrow. And listen, guys, I just need you in this last stretch. Just keep me in your prayers. It's a serious matter. It really is. And our democracy is on the line. As I said, you know, we have four seats up for grab here in Pennsylvania on our appellate courts. 2 women of color, another woman who's not of color, but 3 women from Philly are running hard to, you know, really try to preserve our democracy, but also show the rest of Pennsylvania that, you know, good things do happen in Philadelphia. We have some dynamic, you know, talent here. We want to make sure that, you know, we are showing them that we can do everything that they think we can't, and then some. So please encourage those that you know to vote. And I will tell you, this election, because elections are a subject matter for my court that I'm running for, you know, if our process breaks down here because of the courts these seats not being held by judges who care and who are going to do the right thing, the elections in 2022 across the nation are going to be impacted, and the elections in 2024 are going to be impacted. So look at this as a stepping stone. This is just a building block leading up to our next presidential election. There's a ploy to dismantle the entire voting system, to disenfranchise more people of color, more poor people, more uneducated people, so that they cannot vote. You know, there is this, you know, women's reproductive rights are on the line, are on the ballot. Our whole understanding of how democracy works and what it protects, the rights of working people, everyday working people, all of these very important issues are on the ballot. And I mean, not through a question, but through your vote as to who takes these seats in your local elections. Around Pennsylvania, our school boards, millions of dollars are being poured into school board races. And these seats are unpaid. These people are, they're unpaid. So who wants these seats so badly that they would fund these campaigns for volunteer positions because our children's minds are at stake? Please do not sleep on these elections. If you live in one of these 35 states that has an election, please vote. Please.
All right.
So thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was great. I want to come back when I win, and we're gonna have some champagne,
Party.
and we're gonna celebrate, and we're gonna talk a little bit more and talk about what's gonna happen next. But until then, guys, thank you so much. Keep me in your prayers. TC, thank you for the opportunity, as well as my sister Polo. Thank you for allowing me on your platform.
And whenever you're ready, once we get the victory, because we claiming it.
Yes.
And whenever you're ready, the parties, we ready.
Yes.
We're gonna celebrate and we're gonna talk some more.
Okay.
And thank you for your time.
Yes.
You know, answering everybody's questions.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Judge.
Thank you, Faye.
All right. Have a good evening.
Right, see y'all. Bye-bye.
I know that's right. That's what's up. That's wonderful. That was awesome.
It was. I want to say thank you to the chat. Y'all were awesome. Y'all was so awesome. Yes. Y'all kept it going. Y'all kept it flowing. Y'all was in here, and you know, she enjoyed it, and we enjoyed it, and anybody that came through. So
one last plug, Polo. November 2nd, this Tuesday, November 2nd. This Tuesday, please vote for Judge Laurie Dumas, Laurie A. Dumas, for Commonwealth Court of Pennsylvania. Please, please, please call your friends, and if they live in any part of Pennsylvania, call your friends, your family, your foes, exes, lovers to be, whomever. As long as they're 18 years old, they can vote. Please have them get out there and vote for Laurie A. Dumas.
And I'm gonna be following the polls, and I'm gonna be hitting TC up. So as soon as victory, I'm gonna come live. If it's too late that morning,
no doubt,
on the 3rd,
we're gonna come
live, and I'm gonna let y'all know that she won. You know, we ain't finna say nothing else. I'm gonna let you know that she won.
Dig it.
That's what she said. We need to do more, TC.
We will. Yes, we will. Yes. We're going to be living it up. Living my life like it's golden. Oh, yes. Anyway.
All right.
Polo, I'm going to drop down and you give your last remarks. Thank you so much, sis. You always appreciate you.
No problem. You know, I appreciate
and thank you to the chat.
All right. We'll talk tomorrow.
Gotcha.
All right. Okay, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all. This has been another episode of Serious Conversations with TC and Polo the Creator. And join us next time. But like I said, I'm gonna be following up on the election myself, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna let y'all know the consequences. But we already know that Judge Laurie A. Dumas will win the election. So what I'm gonna do, so like she said, if you're in one of the 35 states, Tuesday, November 2nd is election day. And you know what? I can actually say I am bad on voting in local elections. I always vote in the national elections. So I'm going to do some research and get out there and do my part to, to help make change. So I'm going to find out who's running, and me and my wife, we will be at the polls on the 2nd casting our vote. So if I gotta cram before Tuesday, I'm going to vote. So if you, like I say, if you're in one of those states, go ahead and do your part, because what we don't, and I can't say on my part, I know I'm moving, I'm nervous energy, but I know on the local level, I don't vote, and very seldom, maybe when mayor come up, or maybe governor, I do, but we have to make changes starting from the bottom up. So those are important. Okay, Miss Who, you say she voted early already, and local elections have a greater impact on your everyday life. First, please vote in your right. That's so true, Armin. And like I say, for years and years and years. But you know what? I can actually say, you know what's so true about what you just said? It has a greater impact on our life. So they don't pump it I'm telling you, it's so quiet around Houston right now that you don't even know that there's an election coming up. I think I was reading something. No, how I found out it was election day. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I was looking at my calendar to see what I had to do for Monday and Tuesday. And that was earlier today. And I saw Tuesday as election day. I haven't seen any campaigns on the TV. I haven't seen any posters. I don't really go with the pandemic being like it is, and by me working close to home, I don't get out a lot. So that is a reason why. But I think the same way but I understand why it's not publicized so greatly because it costs so much, and Judge Dumas explained that. So but I am gonna get out there. Like I said, I'm getting ready when I get off of here. I'm gonna there's gonna be my homework assignment to find out who's running in my local election so I can get out there and do my part. And if you're in one of the 35 states, go ahead and do your part. And if you're also in Philadephia, go ahead and vote Judge Laurie A. Dumas and cast your vote for her. And Almond Brown has been dropping the link where you can go into her campaign, and feel free to donate if you want to donate also. So let's see what y'all said. I want to thank everybody. Okay, yeah, it was a very great live. It was very informative, and it gave me, I don't know about you all. Okay, so Terry, you just taught me something. So that's why and I feel like they should be, because at least a little bit, at least in like the local commercials, because that if it affects us so greatly, then let us know about it, because that's why you don't get the good turnout. I know mayor is advertised here. Like if you're running for mayor and governor, we see those commercials all day long, but you don't see the judges commercials. You don't see your district, your councilmen's and stuff like that. You don't see that unless only time you see those judges up, the local judges, and the what else I'm going to say, and the councilmen is when there's a national election or the mayor or governor is being elected, and then they are running they fall under that ticket. So let's see what they don't push it like they used to. You used to see posters, billboards everywhere. You don't. I lost the comment. There you go. You don't see it now, except maybe on election day, and you barely have time to say to people, I agree, Armin, and there may be a strategy to keep us from not voting. So I think, like I say, if my phone wouldn't have told me that Tuesday was election day, which I knew it was election day in Philadephia, because I knew we had this live coming up, but I didn't know that we had election. But I will be going out to do my part. Brooklyn Boy, you have a great night as well. 35 states have elections November the 2nd. Right. And like I say, I think Texas is one, because I don't think it would have came up on my phone, but it could have been. But check out that link if y'all want to donate, and then just to find out more. And what it gave me, this is what I was about to say. What it gave me tonight, we got to see a human side. And it's not like when you walk into a courtroom and you see the judge sitting on the bench, and you just get that scary, very nervous feeling. And, it just put it in perspective that she's human too. And I did like what she said when she didn't want to correct Granny Mary. Because I was going to ask, because I done seen some judges, I done seen people call judges ma'am, and that judge was all over them. And so she gave us okay, hold on. So the best way to remember is every 2 years. Okay, thank you, Terry, because that is it's time, election times for local. So let's see what did I miss? Trying to catch everybody coming before I get off. How you doing, Angela? What's up? Did you enjoy yourself? The local elections used to be advertised heavy where I live. The campaigns of them going after each other and all. Now it's crickets. They try to use social media more than anything. Right. I think they think it's a cheap way out to use social media instead of, paying for airtime. But like I say, it depends on what you following on social media. You may not see it. And like I say, I have not seen it. Right. I saw zero too. So I think that's why so a lot of the judges and whoever was running are using certain platforms to at least reach the people. It's small here, but I think we we're gonna reach some people. It's still here. Once she win, this live will still be here. Just for somebody to just have questions, because it was some good questions asked tonight. So it was just like, it wasn't just about the election, but it was about her life and her life on the bench and things like that. And so it's always something that we can learn. The best way to remember, okay, I said that social media is also huge in the terms of awareness. So I need to find, Lou A, I'm gonna have to find the right things to follow, because I'm telling you, I didn't know anything. So TC said, I live in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Please vote Judge Laurie A. Dumas for Commonwealth Court of PA. We giving that a thumbs up, TC. And that's her campaign link. Y'all check it out if y'all want to donate. Feel free to donate and just read all her accolades, because she has to be from sitting from 2003 to 2000. Her term limit is up in 2023. If she don't win for the appellate court, that's awesome. That is awesome. 20 years, almost 20 years. That's awesome. All right. Let's see. Okay, follow your local judges, council members, Instagram, Twitter, council center. Okay, Louis, like I say, I'm gonna get that done. That's something I've been slacking on. I can actually admit when I haven't been doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna, like I say, when I do the homework tonight, and I'm gonna write them down on these little cards. I'm gonna go and make sure I follow all of them. Instead of following the celebrities, I need to follow somebody that's gonna make an impact on my life and the future of my kids and grandkids. Okay, let's see. Y'all busy in the chat, keeping up. Elections are every year. All depends on the race. Okay. So I didn't know. I thought it was always 2 and 4. So you know what? That you about right about that. Faye Silver said, I'm going to research the candidates now. I'm sad to say that election day really got away from me. That's all right. You still got a little time. Just us coming on tonight. We still have all the rest of the evening and all day tomorrow before, and then some of early Tuesday before the polls close to get out there. So like I say, I have to find out who's running and where, because they change it around over here. So where are we going to vote? Are we voting at the library, or are we voting at the elementary school, or are we voting at the shrine of the Black Madonna? So I'm gonna go check and see. And like I say, Faye Silver, it's not too late. Terry say, most vote in 4 years, but forget the change comes with your local and voting in 2 years. You're right, Terry, and that was me. You're right. And sometimes I will vote for the mayor, and sometimes that will slip by me. And that you are so true. And like I said, I learned a lot tonight, and I'm gonna be a change I want to see. Because I'm Humble Queen. Thank you. We connect Tuesday at the Victory Party. That's right. TC, make sure you take a little snippet or something, some pictures from the Victory Party, where maybe I can you can email them to me, and then I can, when I come on, and if you want to come on with me, and then I can share the screen and show some of the photos from her Victory Party. You still have time, huh? Better late than never, right? She said, I got you as far as the politics are concerned. Right, I know you got me. And then, yes, we partying Saturday, Tuesday night. That's right. Thanks for the stimulation. No problem, Louie. That's what I want to come on here and give. And yeah, it was. The chat did good. But that's what I want to come on here and give. I want to give something positive, something stimulating, something that we can learn from. Sometimes it's okay to be silly, but it's, we have to learn, because if it's not just a benefit to us, it's a benefit to our generation. And there's no time like the present. You're so right. So I think we almost done with the comments. You say get all the apple cider ready for the party on Tuesday when she wins. Not the apple cider. No problem. Madison will has his first black male on Tuesday. Hey, okay. Is that New York, Madison? Madison. I heard of Madison. I'm trying to think what state I heard. What city is Madison? Tell me, Terry, what that is. But while I'm waiting on her, so I want to let y'all know, everybody that's in the chat, North Carolina. Okay, okay. Hey, okay, that's an accomplishment there. I'm gonna follow that too. TC is coming back up. Let's see. What's up?
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say I wanted to tell Almond Brown that at the victory party I'm gonna be wearing my one of my hats that I got from her. So
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes, we're getting ready to party and do this up, okay?
All right.
Everything. But yeah, just locally, we always say think globally, but act locally. Or every single year there's an election, every year. And here's the thing, there's the commissioner, depends on where you live. Some people, police commissioners are voted in, fire commissioners are voted in, of course, your school district, they're all voted in. So it all depends on where you live and the structure and the organizational dynamics of your city, county, state, etc., all that good stuff. Every year, like next year is for Philadephia, it's the mayor and the senators. Now that's going to be very big and very interesting. So, and if you notice what the good judge was just saying, that when it comes down to the judges, they can either overturn stuff that has happened with the presidency election. Mm-hmm. And so we need to have certain, you understand? That's how this thing works. Right. It's very strategic. And honestly, if you follow it long enough, you're going to see a trend. Right. This is what happens. This is how it goes. Oh, okay. Now we're doing this. Now we're doing that. Okay. Every 6 years is senators. Every 4 years is the presidency. And why isn't it that the presidency and the senators will go at the same time? There's a reason for that. You see? So yeah, it's very interesting and to study it. So yeah, every year, everybody, there's somebody that you're going to have to vote for or at least stay connected to so that you'll know what's happening. But it's people like you, Polo, and there are others that will put this information out here that will get us thinking about our own, it's not just Pennsylvania, but 35 other states.
Right.
And I see a lot of people were doing their due diligence and they voted early. So see, we have folks right in here that's just already doing the doggone thing.
Right.
So thank you so much, everybody. This is great.
I had to write down William Phillips' name so I could follow that.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right, I'm out. Talk to you later.
I'm shutting it down. I got one more little church announcement and I'm shutting it down. I got to steal.
There it is. All right.
So don't forget Wednesday night, Around the World with us, with me and my co-host, Armin Brown 09. And it's gonna be on her channel this Wednesday. So Armin, if you want to drop your link for anybody that's here that probably is not subscribed to you so they know where to find us. So what we do is we discuss something that's in my backyard, her backyard, and just around the world. It's very fun, very informational, and we just bounce back off each other, and we talk about what's going around in the news. So, and I'm sure this will be on we'll talk about this as well, and we'll be able to wish our good sister, the Honorable Judge Laurie A. Dumas, congratulations. But we're gonna give her one beforehand and give her some prayers and well wishes as well. I'm waiting on you to drop, and then I'm getting ready to go. But if you are, I can't share the video, but I can share. Yeah, come on over. And then go back and on my channel. We'll be on our 4th episode. So there's 2 on this channel. There's 1 on her channel, and then you can y'all, you can catch the replay, and we talk about, she gives her opinion, I give my opinion, and then the chat, we interact with the chat on y'all opinion. So that's the link. She dropped it. Okay, thank you, Terry. We appreciate that. We glad that you like it. So that's the chat. I'm getting ready to get out of here. It's football time. I gotta go catch some more football. And y'all have a good night. I don't know what my Astros doing, but y'all have a good night. I appreciate y'all. We're gonna already claim the Honorable Judge Laurie Dumas a victory. But go vote if you are in Philadephia for her. And y'all have a great night. Peace.